Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Now before I begin, be sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Recently, I saw a video on WhatsApp showing a man leaping from the roof of a burning factory. Why was there no fire escape he could use? We'll find out at the end of this video. But first, if you plan to build a building, you will need to pull a construction permit. And in today's video, we have the top things you should know. Number 1, what is a construction permit? A construction permit is an official approval issued by your local government agency that allows you or your contractor to proceed with construction or a remodeling project. The purpose of the construction permit is to guarantee the safety of current and future owners and occupants. Number 2, when is a construction permit needed? Every jurisdiction is a little bit different, but here is a brief list of some of the activities that may require a permit. Of course, if you're building a new building, but also if you're demolishing any load-bearing walls, changing a house's roof line, adding an addition, installing any new electrical wiring or adding circuits, building decks or fences over a certain height, doing anything that affects a sewer line, installing a new furnace, air conditioner, water heater, or other mechanical unit, or adding a pool. But again, this is just a brief list. You should always check with your local building office before moving forward with any construction work. Number 3, who pulls a construction permit? Well, it depends on who is doing the project. Typically, the contractor will arrange for the permit. However, if you plan to build a building yourself, you will be responsible for getting all permits. And I would just note that when you pull a permit yourself, you'll be considered the contractor in the eyes of the city. This often means that you will need to be licensed, and on top of this, you will be taking on liability for issues if there's a construction problem. Thus, it's typically a good idea to hire a professional when doing any construction work, unless you are one yourself. Number 4, what happens if I don't pull a construction permit before I do some work? Depending on where you're located, it may sometimes seem easy to skirt this process. But keep in mind that if your project requires a permit and you don't pull one, then the local jurisdiction may place a stop work order on any work being done until you get a permit. You will also incur fines, and in a worst case scenario, you may be required to pull your new work down. And number 5, what is the process for pulling a permit? The process again varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, but here's a brief overview. First, contact your local building office. This way you understand exactly what they need. You'll then prepare an application. Generally, this also means putting together the plans that the jurisdiction will need. You'll then submit your application and pay any fees. And once construction is underway, you or your contractor will have to coordinate with the building department to arrange for inspections. Most jurisdictions require inspections at either certain key points in the construction process or on a regular basis. After the construction is complete, you'll have your final inspection done and then wait for approval. So that covers the basics of construction permits. But at this point, you may be wondering, are construction permits really necessary, or are they just a regulatory burden? Well, to answer this question, let's consider what happens when construction codes aren't enforced through proper permitting. In 2019, 150 people died in the city of New Delhi due to fires. And this number does not include the numerous people who had to escape fires in dangerous ways, such as jumping from the roof of a 3-story factory. In many cases, these fires broke out in illegal buildings or ones that were not built in accordance with the city's construction codes. So prevalent is the problem that the Delhi Supreme Court even instituted a monitoring committee to try and combat the massive amount of illegal construction. The report later concluded that there is a nexus between builders, officials, and owners that allows builders, architects, and owners to buy their way out of complying with construction laws. But if you think this problem is just an Indian one, consider the case of Hurricane Andrew. When the storm ripped through Miami-Dade County in 1992, it caused more than $25 billion in damages. A later grand jury investigation into the more than 63,000 homes destroyed revealed that many of them were poorly designed, badly built, and inadequately inspected. Even worse, the same trends were present in the immediate reconstruction effort. For example, nearly 60% of rebuilt roofs would not pass an inspection. Though lack of staffing, not outright corruption, may be the primary cause of a legal building in this context, the result is the same as in Delhi: unnecessary destruction. Eventually, Miami-Dade County did revise both its building code and inspection practices, making it one of the toughest storm-specific building codes in the U.S. and largely eliminating illegal construction. But the county now also has higher construction costs. And this fact highlights that the incentives that lead to illegal construction are often the same in almost every context: the widespread need for more affordable housing, the desire to increase profits no matter the cost, and frustration with added delays that come from regulations. And the trade-offs between affordability and safety will mean that building codes and their enforcement through construction permits will continue to vary widely in their implementation and efficacy. But regardless of how you feel about construction permits or how well they are enforced in your jurisdiction, you should always obtain one if you plan to build. And beware any contractor who plans to work without one. While they may save you money in the short term, in the long run, shoddy work could cost you dearly. But what do you think? Do you have any stories about construction permits? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down properties at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.